think you have to be honest with yourself. Sometimes you're just not, you just weren't born to do something. I always give this story where you got this guy that wanted to be a chef his entire life. Since he was a little kid, he wanted to be a chef, and he just cannot get that job as a chef. One day he steps back and is looking at this restaurant, and he says, you know what, I've been being a chef this entire time. I'm just going to try to run one because I can't be a chef. And he realizes that he was never supposed to be the chef. He was supposed to run the restaurants full of chefs. So sometimes we're really close to what we're supposed to be doing, but what we think we're supposed to be doing isn't what we were gifted to do. So when you say anyone, I think anything is possible, but you have to really, really be honest with yourself. Is this what I am supposed to be doing? There are hoods and impoverished areas all across this entire world, not even in America. And to pinpoint a certain place and only highlight the murder, only highlight the negativity, there's an issue with that, because I live in a city right now, and it's a beautiful city. Now, there are certain areas where if you go over there, you will experience what the news portrays. But that's a little piece of Chicago, and that's what we're doing, with Red Gorilla Entertainment. We're bringing light back to Chicago, because you can talk about the positive if you want, because there is positivity that happens every day. Canal Street is about a kid from the south side of Chicago that moves to the suburbs. And befriends a white classmate, and before you know it, he's accused of that same classmate's murder, and he finds himself on trial for the murder of this new friend. And his father, who is a lawyer, comes to his side to defend his son, not only to basically the city of Chicago, but the entire world. And it deals with racism in a way you've never seen in cinema. You see Chicago in a different light. We see the movies about the kid that's been gunned down by the cops, and we continue to see those stories. We wanted to show a different story, and spin it a little bit differently. What happens when you are doing right and wrong still happens to you? How do you still find your faith? Where is your faith when you've done everything right? And then how do you learn to forgive when the world continues to push you down? So the film is about forgiveness. It's about overcoming your differences and ultimately hoping that this film will bring people together, because that's what it's about. It's about conversation. It's about discussing the issues that we have so that maybe we can come to a common ground. No matter where you find your faith, I believe that everybody has faith in something. And so we didn't want to alienate people of faith, but we did want to, sometimes you feel like you're beat over the head with scripture and you beat over the head with certain things. We wanted to just incorporate faith because everybody deals with it. That's how you get by. In some form. So we wanted to make a real film. So how could we make a film about everything that's going on in the world and not involve faith? As a director, you're always watching things that people aren't necessarily paying attention to. There's a certain scene or a certain moment or even a certain look. Not to mention he's in Chicago, and I always want to present something to an actor that they haven't done yet, because acting is all about being challenged. You don't want to do the same caricature. You don't want to play. He had already done Michael Bivins. He's playing Hakeem. So I wanted him to play Kholi Styles. I wanted to show him something different, and he rose to the occasion and knocked it out the park. Well, what's crazy is just like in the movie where we're involving faith, and quote unquote commercialized stars that are in the film. We also are including faith on our soundtrack and quote unquote commercial music, and we did a fusion of that. So we had everybody from Toby Mac, Bizzle, Houston native, Social Club Misfits. Torrin Wells, also a Houston native. We got a lot of great things. Amir Wyndham, who's the music supervisor of the soundtrack, put together a wonderful sound. We wanted to incorporate all styles of music. So from hip hop to jazz to R&B to gospel to rock to alternative, because the city of Chicago is diverse. So the film is diverse. So you can't just have a movie about Chicago and it's just hip hop. You ever see you see a movie and it's got a black actor in it, and so the whole thing is hip hop, and you're like, that doesn't make no sense. So we wanted the music to reflect the film and the actors, and we wanted the music and the film to accompany each other. And I think that Amir Wyndham did a great job of fusing that together. I wish we could have added more money to the movie. We shot the movie in 16 and a half days, with over 61 actors, over 31 different locations. So you can always ask for more money, but actually just more time, But, we were blessed with what we had. We have an amazing cast, and we got an amazing release date of January 18th, 2019.
Bishop Eric Garnes, or we're going to call you Dr. Eric Garnes? What we call you?
Whatever makes you happy.
You have all the titles, all the doctors.
Actually, I use Bishop Eric Garnes and Dr. Eric Garnes interchangeably, kind of sort of wherever we are, whatever community we're with. Some people have a little concern when you say bishop. They go into a different false mode about thinking they need to create another them for me. And sometimes it's offensive in the world that they say, well, what is a bishop? But standing strong on my faith, and this movie happens to be strong of our faith, Bishop Eric Garnes is acceptable.
Yeah.
The privilege of working with my business partner and colleague. He's a co-writer, director, and now film producer in the film, executive producer. His whole giftings was just phenomenal. I wanted to move outside of the church, really. And Ryan and I met approximately 4 years ago, and we've been moving ever since. From a 30-minute meeting becomes a 4-year relationship. And I don't believe that the church has a responsibility to stay inside the walls. I don't believe that the church has a responsibility to stay in the tradition of which they operate. I have another means of believing that we have to learn how to get outside of this box and talk to a people that don't necessarily want to come to hear us. And the way of making that happen is another venue, another medium. And the medium is entertainment, the big screen. That's really the crux that made me say, you know what? This is the feel I want to do at this stage in my life. Like you're talking about somewhere around. The power of God's word, the power of his presence made a difference in my life from about the age of 10 years old. Although I grew up in a Christian home, I did not necessarily maintain Christian values all the way. I kept my faith. I just found that there was more things for me to do outside of the church. By the time I got to college years, like, okay, see ya, I'm out. Let me go experience what life is all about. And when I heard the message of the movie by sitting with Ryan, it was, again, a repeat for me. I can get the message said from the big screen. More people can hear the good message. More people can hear the good news. They are not necessarily coming to the local facility. As a result, that causes me to want to be a part of a film that has a faith-driven piece. As Ryan had mentioned earlier when he was communicating, and I'm firm on the same, faith is everywhere. But how you crystallize that faith into your Christian community is now you're being specific about where your faith is. And faith is not just my voice, faith is my action. So my action now is get involved in the film. Get involved with Hollywood and understand that, and let people know that people in Hollywood also have a faith. Because a lot of times we tend to believe this misnomer that if you're a part of the Hollywood, then you don't have faith. You're gone far from God. That is so far of a lie as they come. People are just operating with their art, their craft. They're doing what God gifted them to do. Therefore, I'm enjoying the fact that people are going to hear about faith in this movie, and they're also going to hear about justice. I think it hit me more when I realized, I like your word, that word changed, when I realized, though, that I can impact more people. Our church is a good sized church, a growing church have 2 congregations on Sunday morning. But I think it's more important for me to touch people beyond, again, I repeat that traditional means. When we get on social media, we touch a whole nother congregation that's not sitting in front of us. And then I believe, based on the way Canal Street is designed, it's designed for conversation. By putting our faith out there causes people to say, let's talk about your faith. Tell me how you do this and still maintain your faith. How do you keep your sanity and still keep your balance and all the challenges that you go through and still be a part of this world? That allows me and others to realize it's a real world that you can really hold on to God and still maintain sanity and balance at the same time. Kholi Styles, for me, connects with his mom. You're going to watch that in the movie, how powerful women are and how much your voice makes a difference in our lives. And with all the challenges boys go through, and we're always looking for our fathers, there is a need for both parents. So I can connect with Kholi in the light that my mother built my faith. So I got a maternal development because of that. But also when you see the movie, you'll see another development of the paternal side that makes us understand how much children need both parents in their lives. I don't know if that part's going to come forth. I can promise you that. But TV series, talk shows, those kind of a thing, motivational speaking, executive life coach, that's all me. But in terms of acting, I might leave that to somebody else. A cameo, the most you might get from me. Too Loud Magazine. If you don't tune into anybody else, you need to tune into Too Loud Magazine. I promise you, it will bless, innovate, and ignite you to your next level.